Namaskar. From time to time I get asked about how you become a family Acharya, Grhii Acarya. So I'm going to read out to you the 12 essential points that Baba gave for becoming a Grhii Acarya. First one is he or she must have immense social reputation for strict adherence to 16 points as prescribed for Grhis, household Acharyas. But I would say if you're seriously thinking about becoming a family Acharya, then there are some basic external aspects that you should be following. For example, doing sadhana at least twice a day for half an hour each time. Asanas at least once a day. Not eating tamasic food. Brothers wearing langoda. Not shaving joint hair or body hair except for the face. Baba's permitted shaving the face. The rest can have a bad effect on your emotional stability, apparently. Attending Dharma Chakra if that's possible. And also attending retreats and seminars whenever they're held and if that's possible, depending on your circumstances. So these things you should be trying to do, and of course supporting the organisation in some constructive way, working in one of the projects and having a position like Bhukti Pradhan or unit secretary or involved with running a school like that. Number 2, he or she must earn their livelihood through physical or intellectual labour. Not sure if that just means Vipram or Shudra work, or what I think probably more likely just means jobs that require use of intellect and your body, your physical strength, which is most work, I would imagine. Point 3, local Margis must unanimously say that he or she is a Sadvipara. What is a Sadvipara? Well, in this context, I would say it's someone who is strict about following 16 points, as I talked about at the beginning, doing the basics, sadhana twice a day, Ekadashi fasting, etc., etc. So strict and conscientious, not to mean that they follow them perfectly, but only Baba does that, but at least trying and conscientious about doing what you can in that regard. Point 4 is he or she must spend at least 5% as donations to the poor or to service projects or to Ananda Marga. 5% of your wage. Point 5, he or she must be married, and the marriage must have been as much revolutionary as possible. Of course, if you're already married when you join Ananda Marga, and it's not revolutionary, or then you can't be expected to leave your marriage and marry someone else that is more revolutionary, but it's just saying as much as possible. So you do according to your situation. Number 6, one must have a reputation in feeding others without incurring any loan. Number 7, one must always be neat, clean and well dressed, avoiding unnecessary ostentation. Number 8, one must pass C part, B part and A part before being declared as an Acharya. These are the 3 sections that you have to go through in your Acharya training. C part is the first one, where you have to memorize all the conduct rules that you're going to be following. Some basic Bengali, Sanskrit, and if you don't know English, some English as well. And then all of the social philosophy, Prout. Then you're examined on that, and then if you pass, you go on to the next stage, which is B part, where you learn the spiritual philosophy and memorize the sutras of Ananda Sutram, and at least 20 slokas, I think it is, from Subhasita Samgraha. Then you pass pass the exam for them. You do SPT, which is a week long of learning to live as a beggar, wearing very little clothing, and still being expected to attend classes and follow the rest of the 16 points. It's more to do with seeing what sort of character you have, character building. And this is an important difference between Acarya training and any other meditation course or yoga course that you may have done or think to do, where it's more to do with memorizing and learning how to do, in part, yoga and meditation, where here, the Grhii Acaryas, the training is much to develop your character, to make you more humble, sincere and surrendered, as well as having the knowledge to be able to teach the lessons and other aspects of Acarya life and duties. Point 9 is one must have undergone much suffering for the cause of Bhagavad Dharma. This is an extension of what I was saying about character building. You must have a selfless, sacrificing nature, ideally. You need that anyway to advance on the spiritual path. Selfish people don't last very long. But particularly if you want to be in Acarya where you're setting the example for others, then you have to have done some kind of service and sacrifice for Ananda Marga, for Dharma, in your service projects, in your work, or fighting for Ananda Marga, like that. Number 10 is the syllabus. Another course of training shall be just like whole-time Acarya training. And the training shall be imparted in a particular training centre, started specifically for this purpose. He or she must not be impotent, sterilised, or should have sufficient number of children. That implies you should have at least one child. Of course, if you want to be a family Acarya, you need to have a family. I am aware of one case where Baba recommended someone not married to Tattvic training, but not Grhii Acarya training. Certainly according to these points here that Baba has given, you need to be at least married with one child. And finally, the 12th point is, if having more than 3 children, he or she must be mentally ready to spare one for missionary work. But the final selection, however, depends on the mood and qualification of the child and not on its parents. Then finally Baba says, the above quoted 12 essential qualities shall never be slackened or wavered, nor shall there be any special case for any particular individual. I'll also add that you have to be at least 30 years of age and not older than 60. Also, you should have sufficient time to devote to your Acarya work and responsibilities. So, if you think you have these qualifications, want to be a family Acarya, then speak to your local Acarya who will talk with their SS or SWWS, and if they agree, then an application can be made to the Acarya Board and Centre and they'll have the final say. Just remember though, to be a family Acarya, or really any Acarya, is not a right or an entitlement, but a privilege. It's a privilege to serve Baba as his representative, as a representative of Ananda Marga as well. And so certainly there will be different tests and obstacles put in your way to becoming a family Acarya, but they must be treated in the same way of everything in life, with humility and surrender to Baba. For only Baba will decide ultimately whether you're suitable or not. All we can do is serve and surrender.
Baba